Hey everyone, welcome to another success story. I am here with kick-ass Kristy Sworoff. Kristy, welcome to the Bring Your Soul to Work, kick-ass, all that sort of thing. This is how we make a life and a dream career come together. And Kristy is here to tell her story, to talk about what she went through, the hero's journey that she literally went through over the past several months. Kristy, I'm going to kind of tell a little bit of the beginning of your story. Feel free to embellish as you see fit. But Kristy basically lost her job 6 months ago. Kicked in the teeth, unexpected. You can tell maybe a little bit more about that story. And then you had a little bit of a health crisis in your family. You had to be there for your family. So it kind of derailed I need a new job. I need to get a job, get back in the job market. And then one of those days, somewhere between needing to get back on track, you came across something I think that probably said Coach Mo. So feel free to fill in some of the blanks on that, how your career kind of went to a nosedive and how we found each other. Just a little bit on that.
Yep. So I was working as an executive assistant to a C-level executive. And like Mo said, I unexpectedly, because you never expect to get fired, but I was fired at the beginning of December. And I mean, it was truly unexpected. And what had happened later on, I came to realize, is I basically promoted myself out of a job. So, and at the same time, so I took the rest of December to travel with my husband, and, nobody hires at the back half of December anyway. So spent the holidays with my family. And then at the beginning of January, my dad suffers a massive stroke. And my dad is my parents are located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am here in Nashville, Tennessee. So my husband and I immediately took off to Milwaukee, and I was in Wisconsin for basically the entire month of January because I could. And at the time, I did not view me being let go as a place in the universe that I needed to be at the time. It was the most awful thing on the planet. Yeah. Well, looking back now, had that not happened, I probably would have had to have quit that job so I could have the time to spend with my family in Wisconsin. So my dad is doing great, by the way. He has really come a far, far, far away from how massive the stroke was. So that's the great news. Yes. The other piece of great news is that during that time, I think it was the last week of January, maybe first week in February, I saw on Facebook Mo's ad for a free clarity call. And I thought, I have nothing to lose. Yeah. And the thing that struck me was, I didn't know what my next step was going to be. I knew that I did not want to be an executive assistant anymore. I knew that I was destined for bigger and better. I just didn't know what that was. Yeah. So that's what I really was hoping to get out of the program. So beginning of February, I gave Mo a run for her money on the clarity call. I gave her every objection that I could think of. And I come from a sales coaching organization. So I heard all of the objections before that I threw at Mo. So I was really excited about the conversation that we had. And I did talk it over with my husband, and it was a significant investment. And I'm so glad that I did it, because it truly is an investment in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. I have a woman in the workshop right now who actually is trained in sales as well. And, there's a whole thing about sales and, icky, and you're trying to shove something down someone's throat, et cetera. I mean, from knowing me these months now, I mean, I have to have the right technique in order to move people from fear to their future. We have to use the skills that are there to help move human beings forward in something that they want, need, and it's a solution to their problem. And the human being is resistant to doing something different. It's just how we're built. We don't want to do something different. Mm-hmm. We really don't, even though we know we have to. It's like, I don't want to do it. because it's the fear brain kind of kicking in to protect us. It's normal, it's natural, it's expected. When we had our talk, you had told me that about a little about the organization you were working for, your husband's in sales, and I felt so happy, basically, that you understood where we were going and the solution that we had. And I felt so happy that you really needed someone to help you get on track, because you were worth more than floundering. I used a fish joke. We'll get to that in a second, folks. Kristy was floundering. We'll tie that back soon. So super, super happy. Now, my workshop can be intimidating. There's people there who have lost their jobs as well. There's people there who've had really deep personal trauma, and that's part of the reason why their careers aren't working for them. And by being on the coaching calls, we have a very confidential, sacred space. What were some of the things you had to overcome to allow the process to work for you?
I had to, first and foremost, I had to overcome being in my own head a lot.
Yeah.
In every single week of the program, I think there was something in my head that was holding me back.
Yeah.
I also needed to, and this necessarily was never a problem for me, but you have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
You have to be. I mean, it is a sacred space. I felt so comfortable sharing the things that I shared because it is a safe, very, very safe. The community of women it's a community of cheerleaders. I mean, it's amazing, and everybody's there to lift everybody up. Nobody is there to, give an opinion or pass judgment, rather. It's a fantastic network. And I shed tears. I think in every week I shed some tears. and for me, that's just me. I'm a very emotional person, and I was okay with sharing what I shared in the manner of which I shared it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, it was a combination of those two things.
Yeah. Awesome. We do have to open ourselves up to exploring something new when we want to make a change. As you know, in working with me, I've had a coach for 19 years, different ones along the way that I needed to kind of lift me to the next level. And when you're a go-getter, get stuff done, and you've been able to kind of just show up under whatever conditions and do stuff, there's a different muscle, so to speak, that we have to exercise to be coachable and to allow some of the unfolding. We have a methodology in my Kick-Ass workshop. Over 12 weeks, there's a program to follow and stuff to do. And some of it may be like, why am I doing this? What does this matter for what I really want to do? Talk a little bit about kind of like the structure and kind of some of maybe the nuggets that you kind of were able to mine to help you along the way.
All of the modules in the program are laid out really, really methodical, and they really make sense. And if you look at everything at the beginning, it's not going to make sense, because you're going to intuitively want to do some things before this step. So all of the steps are right where they need to be. And the first thing that you do is you find out what makes you tick. And it's a relatively simple exercise, but it's put forth in a really interesting way. And at first, when I read the module, I did not make the connection between my pet. But I didn't make that connection. But once you do the exercise and then you talk about it, it makes perfect sense. And so then everything after that falls right in line, and it's one right after another. And there was one of the modules that I had revisited, I think 3 times, because I kept having shifts. So it's okay to go back. We've all heard the saying, take 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Sometimes that's the way. Yeah.
For me, that's the way that I took. So, but everything was so right in tune, and it was easy to follow. And extremely essential to having success in the program. You got to do the work.
Yeah.
There is homework. There is, time you need to put into it. And you only get out of the program as much as you put in. So for me, because it was a significant investment for me, I was darn sure I was going to do that work.
Absolutely.
My husband would have let me off the hook if I was laughing. But
you wanted this, you go to the coaching calls, get there.
Exactly. Be
Right.
present, show up on the Facebook group and make friends, make connections.
Yeah.
Outside of the group. So
you had a career trajectory, Kristy, that was just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. I think there was a decision point that you made to switch jobs one time and that didn't quite work out. And that kind of pushed your career down a little bit. So like on the surface, it wasn't very obvious what we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we knew that you wanted to do more, you wanted to be more, you wanted to be more in a professional contribution. And we got to know your natural gifts and talents and who you are. And it's kind of like together, we were mining for gold. What was some of the key points that like picked you onto like, this path feels like the right path. Let's go down this.
Sure. It was definitely finding out what my natural gifts and talents were and what my core values are. And when I sat back and really looked at those, I'm like, yeah, this is me. This is totally me.
Yeah.
And, somewhere along the way, and I don't remember exactly what, it was later in the program, but my mother said to me, and now, of course, my mom, she's my mom, so she's going to say these nice things about me, but she said, you're much more calm. Things don't rattle you anymore. The way that you talk about yourself is such, you've got such a flow and an air about yourself. And I went, coaching. It really is. And, I even felt like that. One of the first interviews that I had landed during the program was awesome because I had never talked about myself with such ease and grace and fluidity before.
Yes.
And I felt like I nailed the interview because I knew for the first time and probably forever, I knew who I was on the inside. Yes. And I just needed to get my inside to finally match my outside. Yes. And I would not have done it had I not done the work.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think your mom saw in you where she commented about how calm you are? What do you think she was really responding to?
My confidence. I was lacking confidence big time. Yeah. And because I had for so long been taking care of other people, I never took the time to take care of myself.
And that included bosses and company stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. And, this is something we talk about all the time in the work that I do in the workshop. And this from being there. Women are wired to do that. Mm-hmm. We're wired to take care of everyone else in the room. And, okay, it's cool. I don't need to be greedy. I don't need to get mine. I'm good. I'm a polite girl. Men, conversely, no offense, gentlemen, are built to hunt and gather. It's how we are primitively put together. It's what the difference between testosterone does to the brain and estrogen does to the brain. But here's the deal. In the work world, we got to find the best parts of that hunting and gathering along with the best parts of caretaking, but we can't take from here to do that. Otherwise we end up depleted and then we're nervous and full of anxiety and I'm not feeling like I'm enough and why am I not getting mine? And everything is like a desperate plea for, come on. Mm-hmm. And that it becomes a place that we permanently live without really even knowing about it until you get that shocker where someone punches you in the face and you lose your job. Or as you know, my story, breast cancer kind of forced me to sit my butt down and kind of do an inward journey where I had to heal some of that striving energy. So I'm looking at you here, calm, self-assured. You're able to talk about yourself easily. no one's going to think that this woman is bragging about herself. She's talking about her journey. Mm. And most people in their head, when they're not able to talk comfortably about themselves, they have this image of being a bragger, egotistical person. So they shy away from talking about themselves. It's something that's ingrained in us. What did you need to really do or overcome to get to that place of comfort and alignment and feeling easy with what you brought to the table as a person and as a professional?
Being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Doing it afraid.
Yeah.
I did several things afraid, several things that I set into my head. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. Do it anyway. That was a huge thing. And there's a couple of things that helped me, or that I did with the encouragement of you, that pushed me so far out of my comfort zone. And quite honestly, the job that I have right now is really uncomfortable right now. And yes, I just started technically, I think this is, let's call it my 4th or 5th day, but it's very uncomfortable because I'm not good at it yet. But I know that I'll get there, because I know why they hired me and my skill set and, what I bring to the table. And it's an industry that I've been in before, but the role is new to me. And that is, sometimes that's a scary place. That's a scary place to be. So, and the women and the guy that I work with, they are so connected in this industry. And right now I am not. Not yet. Keyword right. There is yet. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's learning again to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Comfortable with being uncomfortable. Excuse me.
One of the things that I recognized in my own personal success, and I see it in the success of all the women I work with, and I saw it in high-level executives, both male and female. And when you ask anyone who's really successful, like really rocking it, really doing their thing, they have gotten comfortable just kind of being on the bleeding edge of whatever it is. And not letting that rattle them. As a matter of fact, super successful people have that feeling as their comfort zone. And when they're not feeling that they're on this edge of uncertainty and making something happen, that's where they go, wait a minute, something's wrong. I'm not feeling uncomfortable. And that means that they're not growing. It means they're not, pushing hard enough or getting the boundaries widened up, expanding, et cetera. There was a young golfer who was quoted in one of the golf tournaments I saw over the past 12 months or so. It was a little bit ago. Maybe it was even last golf season. Young guy, like maybe 26, 27. And they said, oh, so-and-so golfer knows that when he's comfortable, he's not growing. So he's always seeking for that place of just a little bit of uncomfortableness. Mm-hmm. And that freaks the normal brain out because the fear brain wants to be comfortable. But the enlightened brain, the expanded brain, the progressive brain knows that that uncomfortableness is exactly what it feels like to be in the zone of expanding. And bravo to you for just riding, that's like a surfer, riding the wave, right? Mm-hmm. You're like riding that wave.
Yeah. Yeah. There was, just a couple of weeks ago, I was on the brink of taking a JOB to get by. Yes. And this opportunity that I'm in right now came about, it started back in March with a connection that I had from working in a previous company. And I had reached out back in March and we started conversations, and we had a couple of conversations over the next several weeks, and then some conversations stopped. Mm-hmm. And I didn't let it freak out. I, did my thing and I continued on and kept revisiting. Come to find out that they were just as interested in working with me as I was interested in working with them. This position did not exist before we talked. So because of my connecting with a former colleague and cultivating that, relationship and massaging it along and whatever, this position came to fruition. and it was kind of plucked out of thin air. And I am very grateful for the opportunity and for the patience that I had to stick with it. Now, in the meantime, like I said, I almost had to take a JOB because I was right there.
Right.
Which is, it was a job that I was excited about, but clearly not excited enough, because I had then another conversation with one of the co-founders of this company. And I told her that, hey, I'm supposed to start this job on Monday. And she said, oh, so if we want to work with you, we're going to have to get you something like immediately. And I said, well, yeah.
In a word.
After we hung up the phone, and within an hour, I had an offer in my inbox.
She spoke. It happened.
I asked for what I wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And you began stepping into your power and your truth midway through the workshop. You're getting a little frustrated. And at some point you started getting really excited about this whole customer service thing. And it just popped you into inspiration mode. Talk a little bit about how that helped bring you forward with your truth and your power and your voice and getting yourself out there. Talk a little bit about that, how you were able to reclaim yourself through that inspiration.
So I was on a coaching call with Mo, leading the call, and we were talking about, gosh, I don't even remember how the start of the call and the end of the call were in two different areas, because it just, we just went down a path. And I had an aha moment during that call, and I believe it was week 8 out of the 12 program.
Okay. All right.
More than halfway, and I was on a path, and then I thought, wait a minute, I want to do this. And I went immediately. I didn't think about it. I didn't, meander over that way. I started running that way, and I went in that direction hard and fast. And it still isn't the direction. It still didn't end up where that was. So I am yet in another.
Yes.
I've landed someplace else. But that all kind of took me there. So as I explained earlier, that my path was not linear. It was, took a turn, took a curve, went this way, went that way. And it's all through discovery and building on itself. And I discovered, hey, this is what I want to do. Okay, I knocked on some doors. I made some connections. I found out, oh, maybe this isn't going to happen right now. Okay, well, then there's this way. And let's make some connections and knock on those doors and talk about. And it was like, it everything built on one another.
Yes.
And, it was all through this whole, idea of relationship building and providing amazing customer service. That's where this whole thing sparked. And I, through a previous job many, many years ago, through my work with actually the Milwaukee Brewers front office, I learned about Fish. And this is an amazing customer service platform that I just fell in love with. I used it as a trainer back in the day. And I took the concepts and I own the concepts as a person. And during that one faithful Thursday coaching call, you bravely said, you should write an article. If you want to be an expert in customer service and considered a thought leader, you should write an article. What? I'm not a writer. I've never done this before. What do you mean write an article?
How dare you? How dare you mention that to me, Coach?
Oh, my smokes. So after my portion of that call was done, I think I sat down at my computer and I cranked out an article on LinkedIn. I now have 3 published articles on LinkedIn. It's all customer service related. And it felt so good to have the feedback to receive the feedback that I did. And also just a feeling of accomplishment, period, that I did something I did it afraid. And you went for it, and no one is going to, blast you for going for it.
Right.
Ever.
And no one's going to give you permission to say it's okay or not okay. Like you're in the driver's seat. And actually that to me is the shift that women make in the workshop that start to bring the outcomes toward them. Getting in the driver's seat. I'm going to do this. Yeah, I can write an article. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can be an expert in this. I can own my passion for this. It was shortly after that you truly found your voice and stepped into your power in some of the videos we do in the workshop, and just reaching out like courageously to people, and just not just reaching out like, will you have coffee with me? But really like having something that you could contribute by reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
Game changer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're in this brand new job, 4 days, you're an expert already. What advice would you give to yourself, 4 months ago?
Relax.
Mm.
Relax. The universe has my back. Everything always works out for me. Learn from everything. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And do the work.
Yeah. That is the commitment, isn't it?
It is. Nothing worthwhile comes easy.
Yeah. I have a quote that I keep on my desk. It's from a woman named Cynthia Ocelli, and it was something that one of my coaches gave me several years ago. For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. To someone who doesn't understand growth, it would look like complete destruction. And the thing that we have to do after our seed cracks open is we have to have fertile soil to grow. Because if we're cracked open and we're sitting on a pavement with no support system, no tools, it's not pretty.
Well, I don't have any kids, but I sure feel fertile.
One of the things that you did was allowed yourself to crack open and allowed yourself to be in fertile ground. So you got great coaching, you took up the tools, you did the work, mm-hmm. and you allowed yourself to be vulnerable and supported by like-minded women who are along the journey with you.
Well, and let's go back. It was not easy.
Yeah.
I don't want to, it wasn't easy. And I was resistant.
Yes, you were.
Several times.
Yes. I need to pull out my best coaching for that.
Yes. I was resistant on a couple of things, and I trusted the process. And that was another, game changer, is just trust the process, because there is a method to the madness. But I was incredibly resistant, and it took me a while to get on board. And some of the things that we do in the coaching program, there's no way, if you would have told me 6 months before I started that, oh, you're going to do these 3 things, I would have been like, yeah, tried it, didn't work, moved on. Well, I was encouraged to give it a shot, and I was encouraged to stick with it. Yeah. And I was not, you never told me, oh, well, it's this way or the highway. You gave me some tips and tricks to kind of ease into things. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking specifically about the meditation.
Okay.
And I one of the things that I don't like about yoga is the shavasana at the end, because my brain races on to the next thing. So I find it very hard to relax during that portion. And I looked at meditation in the same manner. Yeah. And I'm not going to relax. Isn't meditation just like taking a nap? I didn't know, because I really never gave it a full shot. Yeah. Well, in the coaching program and in the modules that we have guided meditation. And that, for me, that works for me. Mm-hmm. I am not a person that can that'll take 10 minutes out of my day, scheduled or unscheduled, and just meditate. I need something to help me along the way. And
mm-hmm. Sure.
That's what we have now I'm not perfect, and I don't do it every day. But those tools are now in my toolbox.
Absolutely.
And I know exactly where to go to get the help when I need the help.
Yeah. So great. Wow. Your story, Kristy, and I've said this to you a couple of times, inspires me to keep advocating, and sometimes I say fighting, for the women I know that we can help, because sometimes it takes someone to believe in you in a way that you maybe don't see for yourself, or you don't believe in yourself. And that's kind of one of my things. I like believe in people like super passionately. And you mentioned this sales piece. And of course, that's kind of like an awkward thing. Like, I don't want to be the salesperson selling you something you don't want, but I want to be the passionate advocate saying, your life and your career is worth more than this crap fest that's going on. We got to get you taken care of. And thank you for allowing me to advocate for you, and for you to believe in me sometimes maybe more than you believed in yourself, to see how it could come together for a wonderful, wonderful experience. Now, you saw other women in the workshop struggle as well, and celebrate as well, and come into their power and come into their own. And it's really, really a beautiful thing. In the 21st century, there's so much stimulation out there and so much noise that if we don't really find our true north inside, if we don't get our soul's vibrational level up for who we truly are, we're going to be following all this stuff out here and just be on a wayward journey. Mm-hmm. You now know who you are at the deepest levels. You're now loving yourself, appreciating yourself, and you know how to take the journey of honoring, yep, this feels right and true for me. Nope, this doesn't. So I'm going to go where it feels right and true for me. I'm going to go where it feels right and true for me. I'm going to go where it feels right and true for me. And along the way, the more we practice that, what's right and true for me, the more we're going to find other people who are doing stuff that's right and true for them. And you start to get to hang out with really cool, super great people who are running companies, changing an industry, total kick-ass, badass people. And now that's who you're hanging out with in your new job. I mean, bravo to you, because that means that you got yourself at that place of certainty about who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you become like the 5 people you hang out with most. Well, I hang out with some really cool people.
And guess what? They hang out with a really cool person too. Bravo to you. Anything else you'd like to say to someone who's like scared, wondering if their career is going to work, wondering if they can fix their problems? Anything you'd like to say to some of those women out there who are kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work for me?
Yeah, and that's okay to feel that way, because you are going to feel that way, maybe several times.
Yes, right.
What I would say is do it afraid, because if you do something that you're comfortable with, like we talked earlier, you're never going to grow.
Right.
And it's okay to be vulnerable, because I think that's when you are at your truest self, mm-hmm. and allow the people that want to help you, but not to a point where people are telling you what to do. Only you. Yes. You are the boss of you.
Yes. Yes.
This work is so important. And if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
And when you do, they all will.
Exactly. And it's fun.
So great. Most fun ever.
Most fun ever.
Yeah. So great. Wow. I've been just really enjoying your story for you. But you know what? I'm kind of sitting here going, how cool is this, that all my shit stuff that I had to do with my career is allowing me to guide women like you to bring them into a beautiful, lovely place. I know you and your husband are probably happier together. He's a delightful guy. Obviously, your family is seeing how confident and happy you are. And the ripple effect is just, to me, a beautiful thing. This work changes couples, families, probably your friends. Mm-hmm. And it's because of your changing you. You're not telling them anything. You're not preaching to them. You're just being the most awesome version of you. And it's just really, really delightful. And I am blessed and grateful that we met paths and that you trusted me. Yep. And you did the work to emerge as just this beautiful, lovely soul. I can't wait to either get to Nashville or have you come to South Florida. We can meet each other in person and give you just the biggest, warmest hug ever.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for helping me along the way. It's been really fun, and for the first time in a long time, I love myself.
Yay!
Yeah, no, it's I am a completely different person.
Ah,
Yes.
so great. Well, congratulations for that. Number one, congratulations for the new job. Number two, and please say hello to your husband.
Yeah.
And until we meet again, as they say, let's
Absolutely.
definitely keep in touch, and maybe we'll see you at one of my annual retreats or something. Just saying.
That'd be amazing. Yes. Oh, I was moving into a new place. Add that to the list of things I had going on, and that's why I couldn't come. So
That's right.
Next year we'll
Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again, Kristy, for your success story, for sharing it, for being open, and for allowing other people to see your inspiring story.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see you next time, folks, on your kick-ass career success story. This is one woman who brought her soul to work, and she's living the dream. Thanks again, Kristy.
Thanks.